Don't you hate it when your turf is the envy of the neighborhood and you start to get bald spots like this? I'm going to show you the easiest way to get rid of these spots. Hi, I'm Dr. Tom Warren and you're watching The Plant Doctor. Let's get started. So this has been a slow but sure digression of my turf in this area. Behind me here, we have these trees that grow 2 to 3 feet every year. That is due south. So when the sun tracks from east to west, all the shadows come right here. And this is Bermuda turf. It needs like a minimal of 6 hours of direct sunlight a day, preferably 10 or more hours a day to make it look really, really healthy. And we're getting like 4, maybe 5 hours of sun in this area right here, and it's just gotten really thin. If you look over behind me to this side, over to your left-hand side, you're going to see a turf that's much healthier because it gets more sun. So this area right here, we're not getting some sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant some zoysia grass into this area. The zoysia will outcompete the Bermuda. I actually started this process last year, and I'll show you here in some B-roll where I've got some zoysia right up against this bed line here, so it's even in denser shade. And in the period of 1 year, it has completely grown together. It's thick, it's lush, it looks really good. But how am I doing this? That's the process that I want to show you. So what I have here is a tool called a Pro Plugger. I've had this for a couple of years now, and it's just a great tool. I want to show you how easy it is to take grass from one location and put it in another location. So I'm just going to take several plugs out of this zoysia grass. I think you can get roughly 10 plugs in the tube before it's full. I've got room for maybe one more. And you can see right there, I've got roughly 10 or 12 plugs that we can go transplant. Let me show you how to transplant them. So I'm going to start in this barest spot, and all you have to do is step on this. We pulled a dirt plug out of there. Look what comes out of the top, our plug. Put it in there, step on it, we go to the next one. And I want to show you something about these plugs. Unlike with sod, look at this root mass that we're getting relative to the vegetation on top. When I'm first plugging these, I don't want a ton of green up here. I want more roots than I do vegetation. Zoysia by nature, or Bermuda for that factor, is going to naturally spread. They get rhizomes and stolons and they spread everywhere. I want this because I'm not going to have to water it. Unlike sod, I have to water that every day until it's rooted. If you go for seed, same thing. You've got to water, 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 water. I don't have to water this. Stick it in the ground. As long as I'm getting rain like once a week, this is going to be perfectly fine. I'm going to plant these behind us on 1-foot centers, and this time next year, it will grow completely in. So now that I showed you the advantages of doing it this way versus sod or seed, let's just go ahead and complete the process. I want to show you how easy this is. I put it in the ground, I step on it, I go to the next one. The beautiful thing about the Pro Plugger is the fact that all the depth for your plugs are going to be the same because it comes with a set of rings. I've got the deeper ring on there. See this ring right here? So I just step on it until it goes all the way down to there. I know that my plugs are that wide. There's a different ring on here. If you want a plug that doesn't go as deep, you can use that as well. So now we've got our plugs on 1-foot centers. That might have taken me 90 seconds to 2 minutes. I know I did the fast forward there. It didn't take long at all. Now that we have our plugs in, we have dirt inside of our Pro Plugger that we can use to go fill the holes in where we took this zoysia grass from. And within 2 weeks, that zoysia grass grows right back over those holes, and you're not even going to be able to tell that you took plugs from the other part of the yard. This would work for Bermuda as well. If you're working with a more northern turf like fescue or Kentucky bluegrass, it may not grow back in as fast because those turfs are not as stoloniferous as a Bermuda or a zoysia, but the process would work all the same. I'll make sure to leave a link down in the description below if you're having issues with your turf and having bald spots This is a great tool to use to get those bald spots to fill in, especially if you're working with zoysia or Bermuda grass. You're going to have to give it just a little bit of time. Like I said, in one growing season, that will be growed in. What I showed you earlier, I did the same thing last July, and it's already grown into a mat. You can't even tell that it was plugged. That might be the disadvantage to doing it this way. If you put down sod, of course you've got that instant green, but you've got to water it all the time for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then after that, you start to taper off your watering. This way, I plug it, I don't have to water it as long as I'm patient. This time next year, this will be green turf. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor, and until next time, happy gardening.